Samsung just dropped its new foldables, and with all the big Z Fold 7 changes, it seems like they're gearing up for something huge with the S26 Ultra. There are 4 big updates on the S26 Ultra, but honestly, it's not quite the leap we were hoping for. In fact, some of this might feel like a step back. Let's break it all down. So first off, we've got 2 new reports from different sources, both reliable, and they confirm some key things about the S26 lineup. The first report is from WinFuture. It shares code names, camera details, and what Samsung's planning for the future of the S series. Samsung called the S25 lineup Paradigm. Now for the S26 series, the codename is Next Paradigm, but here's where things get interesting. For the first time, Samsung launched 4 flagships in the S25 lineup. But this time around, Samsung's switching things up again. Leaks now suggest the S26 Edge is taking the place of the S26 Plus, and this lines up with earlier leaks suggesting Samsung might kill off the Plus model due to low sales. And this isn't just a one-off leak either. A South Korean publication also confirmed the screen sizes for the S26, S26 Edge, and S26 Ultra, and guess what? No sign of the Plus model anywhere. Now, here's what we know about the screen sizes. The S26 will be 6.27 inches, but Samsung might market it as 6.3. The S26 Edge comes in at 6.66 inches, so basically 6.7. And the S26 Ultra is 6.89 inches, rounded up to 6.9. Now look, the Plus variant has been part of the Galaxy S family since the S20 days. If Samsung really drops it this year, it'll be the first time in 6 years we don't see a Plus variant. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Let me know in the comments. But honestly, I think it's a smart move. See, the base and the Plus usually get the same chip, same camera, same everything. It's just the size that's different. The Edge feels like a better middle ground. It's slimmer, has better specs than the Plus, and the design helps it stand out between the base and the Ultra. Alright, let's talk cameras. According to the report, the S26 Ultra will have a 200 megapixel main sensor and a 50 megapixel telephoto with 5x zoom. They didn't say anything about the ultra wide or the 3x zoom, but don't worry, Ice Universe already mentioned those. According to him, Samsung is upgrading the 3x telephoto from 10 megapixels to 12 megapixels, and the ultra-wide might get the same 50 megapixel sensor as the S25 Ultra, so overall the camera setup stays mostly the same as the S25 Ultra. Just a small 2 megapixel bump on the telephoto. But the 200 megapixel sensor is said to be a brand new one, not the same old one Samsung's been using for years. Honestly, that's a smart move. I'll explain why in a second. And what about the Edge? Well, the S25 Edge already had the same 200 megapixel sensor as the Ultra, but its 12 megapixel ultra-wide lens didn't impress many fans. Now, the S26 Edge is getting that new 50 megapixel ultra-wide, and yeah, that's a real upgrade. As for the base S26, this report didn't mention it, but an earlier report from Galaxy Club said it's also getting a new sensor even though the resolution stays at 50 megapixels. Now let's talk about design. Slim phones are trending hard right now, and Samsung's definitely leaning into that. We saw it with the Z Fold 7, and it's continuing with the S26 series. Leaks say the S26 Ultra could be under 8mm, and the base model might even dip below 7mm. But you know what that usually means? Thinner phones often come with thicker camera bumps and smaller batteries. It's the one thing I really didn't like about the Fold 7. But thankfully, that's not going to be a problem with the S26 Ultra. Samsung's switching to a new camera lens tech. Instead of plastic films, they're using an inkjet printing process inside the sensor. That means thinner camera bumps and better image quality. Now let's talk about a problem Samsung still hasn't fully solved: the battery. Even with all the smart engineering on the Fold 7, the battery was still stuck at 4,400 mAh. And let's be real, that's just not cutting it anymore. It's the same story with the S26 Ultra. Even though it's getting a new high-energy density battery which takes up less space, Samsung didn't use that extra room to make it bigger. Instead, they slimmed the phone down. So yeah, it's still 5,000 mAh, no bump in size. And here's the interesting part. Ice Universe says it's not even Samsung's fault. Apparently, under US law, if a phone has a battery cell over 5,400 mAh or 20 watt-hours, it needs extra safety measures, which means higher costs. That's why we don't see phones with 6,000 mAh or 7,000 mAh batteries in the US, even though Chinese brands do it elsewhere. But here's the thing, there is a workaround if Samsung wants to use it. The law says each battery cell must be under 5,400 milliamp hours, not the total capacity. So Samsung could use multiple smaller cells like they do in tablets. OnePlus already did this with the OnePlus 13 to get around the limit, but this is Samsung. They won't go that far unless they absolutely have to. For now, they're sticking to optimization instead of raw battery size. But finally, some good news for once. Ice Universe says the S26 Ultra is getting a major charging upgrade. He didn't drop the exact number, but leaks point to 65 watts of fast charging. Sure, for 2026, it's not the fastest out there, but compared to the 45 watts on the S25 Ultra, this is a big step forward. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more updates like this. This is Techtics, and I'll catch you in the next one.